Okay, so remember our previous session, we are completed our discussion on VPN. Remember, everyone? So we have
Yeah.
these topic to discuss is called high availability, virtual domain, Fortigate AD, and login and monitoring. I think these four topics. I think Mozambique, correct?
Yes, sir.
These four
Correct.
topics we need to discuss. So let's start our discussion. First on let's start high availability today. Okay, failover concept. Let's talk about high availability.
Okay.
Okay, so where we can use this concept is called high availability. In Fortinet Firewall box, you can say high availability. In Palo Alto, you can say high availability. In Checkpoint, you can say it's a clustering feature. In Cisco, you can say failover concept. So why we are using this high availability or failover concept? So let's start a discussion. Let's start our discussion with a scenario. So we have a small topology with one firewall box, small topology. This firewall is connected with LAN side and connected with ISP. Into this topology, everything is working fine. This is firewall device, okay? This is firewall device. So into this topology, everything is working fine. It means we have IP address on interfaces. For example, just 0/0 we are using as a LAN port. So 10.1/24 I'm using, and 0/1 we are using as a WAN site. So 10.1.23.3. Just example. So we are working with a small topology with one firewall box. Everything is working fine onto this box. We have IP address on interfaces, routing, security policy. We are using NAT policy. We are using security profile, VPN. Everything is working fine. You can say traffic is traveling through this firewall box. Okay, everything is fine. But into this topology, there is no any backup. Okay, in case if this box down, so you will lose your connectivity. Your LAN user cannot go onto the outside. They cannot access internet services. So we have a single firewall box. There is no any backup. There is no any redundancy. That is the issue. In that case, we can go with the high availability or we can go with the failover concept. What we can do, we can add one more firewall device. We can add one more firewall device. And if I'm adding this device into my topology, so I need to change now. Wait. So we are trying to add one more firewall box into this topology. So this is WAN portion, WAN side, and side, and LAN portion. So this is called your switch number two. Switch number two. This is your switch number one, and this is called firewall box one, and then this one is called firewall box two. So second device I'm using for high availability. If we talk about high availability, so we have two mode. We have two mode to implement our high availability. Is called active passive high availability, active passive high availability, and second option is called active active high availability. So second firewall box we are using for redundancy, you can say, or for backup, for standby. So let's talk about first this active passive. Active passive. Okay, before start our discussion on high availability mode, high availability mode, let me tell you, we have a failover link. We have a failover link in between both the firewall box. This is called what? High availability link. In case if you are working with Fortinet firewall box, so you required a single failover link. In Cisco ASA, we need a single failover link. But in case if you are working with Palo Alto firewall box, you require two separate links. It's called control link and data link. In Palo Alto, it's called HA1, HA2, high availability link 1, high availability link 2. But in Fortinet, in Cisco ASA, we need single failover link. Single link can handle all the options. So this is called what? This is called high availability link. So in between both the firewall box, we are using a link is called HA. Okay, so if you talk about active passive mode, in active passive mode, we can utilize only one firewall box in the cluster. For example, in high availability cluster, I'm using 4 devices, 4 firewall box, for example. Mozambique, Tarek. If I'm using 4 devices, 4 firewall box. So in case if I'm working with active passive high availability mode, if I'm working with this mode, so I can utilize only one firewall box at a time. And rest of the firewall box, they are acting as a standby device, you can say. Okay, they are acting as a standby. So in active passive, you can only utilize one firewall box in the cluster, and rest of the firewall box, they are acting as a passive, you can say, or standby. So all the traffic, this active firewall means this is called forwarded firewall box. So traffic is traveling via this box. And through this failover link, you can say this through this HA link, firewall box one, is sending a keep alive message, you can say, at a status information, you can say, or hello packet, you can say. Firewall box one is sending hello packet. Okay, in some time interval, he's sending hello packet information. In hello packet, he's sharing his HA status information. I am active. So this box mode is what? Passive. In case if this box down, so see firewall box 2, if this box is down, firewall box 1 is down, and firewall box 2, if he's not getting any hello packet from firewall box 1, so he will get an idea this box is down, and now I'm going to change my mode. Now I'm going to become active. And when this device is acting as an active box, so now traffic is traveling via this box. Clear my point? Tariq, Mozambique?
Yes, I have a question though.
Sure.
So I know you mentioned the example 4 firewalls, right? All standing at the standby. So, I mean, is the idea is it similar to a root switch, and it's like a similar process. But I'm just trying to understand. So if there are 4 firewalls and one is active, all the rest are standby, passive.
Yes.
So in this case, would they be like primary, secondary, third, so they know their level, like maybe set up by priority?
Yes,
something?
I got your question.
Okay.
I will tell you about the priority. Okay. Okay, like STP, we have a priority, right? First, it will take the lowest priority value. Okay, so I will tell you about the priority option, but see, right now we are working with 2 firewall box type. So in between 2 firewall box, or you can say if you have multiple firewall box, one device is acting as a active, and rest of the firewall box is acting as standby. You can say secondary device, you can say. Clear my point right now?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
Yes, it's clear. I just wanna add one more thing. I'm sorry.
Yes,
I don't mean to.
yes, no problem. I will explain everything. Okay, give me some
Yes.
time.
Yeah, just for a clarification, you got firewall 1 and firewall 2.
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mozambique.
Okay.
So the firewall 1 updates the firewall 2 that, hey, I'm active, right? Sends updates. My question here is, do the firewall 2 would update a firewall 1 as I am in passive
yes,
mode?
both are exchanging hello packet.
Okay.
Yes, both are exchanging.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I just
all the
wanted to make
firewall
sure.
box, they're exchanging hello packet, HA status information with each other.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, so in active passive mode, guys, what we can do, we can utilize only one firewall box in the cluster, and rest of the firewall box, they are acting as a standby, or you can say passive device. Okay, if you are going with the next option, is called active failover, for example. If you are going with the active high availability mode, so into this mode, you can utilize all the firewall box in the cluster. It means, for example, right now I have a 2 firewall box, so both the devices I can use as a active. I can use as an active. So traffic, okay, traffic is traffic is traveling via this firewall box 1, other traffic is traveling via firewall box 2. So they are using load balancing technique.
Balancing, yeah.
Okay. So they are using a default load balancing technique is called round robin. Round robin is what? 50-50 load sharing. So in active passive, you can utilize only one firewall box in the cluster. In active, you can utilize all the firewall box in the cluster. Okay, let's discuss some other scenario. Let's just discuss some other scenario into this topology. For example, in case if this link goes down, if this link down, for example, in case this box is up, this box is up, this box is active, only this WAN link is down, then traffic is not traveling because this link is down, but this box is up. If you talk about high availability mode, so this box is active. We are working with active passive, for example, so this box is active. So in that case, what you can do, you can use link monitoring option. What you can use a feature called what? Link monitoring. With link monitoring, what you can do, you can monitor your link, you can monitor your WAN interface, you can monitor your LAN interface. In case if this link goes down, then this box will become passive. This box will become passive, and this box is acting as a active box now. This is the first scenario. If link is down, LAN interface is down, or WAN interface is down, so you can use link monitoring feature. This is the first scenario. Second scenario we have, for example, if this WAN interface, this LAN interface is up, your box is up, and your box mode is active right now. Your box mode is active right now, and now, in case if this high availability link is down, maybe you are using a switch here, maybe you are using a switch here, for example, and maybe switch is restarted or something, maybe some issue with switch. So in case if this link is down, for example, if this high availability link is down, this box is up, this WAN interface, LAN interface is up, but this high availability link is not working. Maybe there is some problem. So this firewall box 2, he is not getting any hello packet. He is not getting any HS status information. So he will get an idea this box is down, and now I'm going to change my mode as active. So this box is already active. Now it's going to become active. So you will face problem in your network. You will face some complexity. Okay, in this case, what we can do, we can go with the backup link, you can say. We can add one more link. This is called high availability backup link. High availability backup link. See, in Fortinet, we need a single link only, but second link I'm only using for backup. So this is called high availability link 2. Second link, guys, I'm using only for backup in case if this link, this high availability link is down, then HA2 will take the responsibility. You know, guys, in Fortinet, we have a great feature. In Fortinet, we have a great feature. You can add multiple backup link. Multiple backup. But you know, guys, if you are working with Palo Alto firewall box, Palo Alto. So I told you in Palo Alto, you require 2 links, HA1 control link, HA2 data link. And if you talk about backup link, so yes, you can add one HA1 backup link, HA2 backup. That's it. You can add only one backup link. But in Fortinet, we have a great feature. If you want to add multiple backup link, you can, no problem. Clear the difference, my point? Muzammil, Tariq?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, now let's discuss some other information. other information, the slide. Okay, so in high availability, what we have in high availability, we have more active passive and active active. In active passive, one firewall is actively managed traffic while other is synchronized. And in active active deployment, both the firewalls in the pair are active and processing traffic. Processing traffic. Now, let's talk about requirement. Okay, if I'm trying to establish this failover, so what is the requirement? So the first requirement you need to have requirement. The first requirement is you need to have same model. For example, this is what 48, 60, 60, 60D, and here you are using 90E. So you cannot establish failover concept. You cannot establish high availability. So the first requirement, you need to have same model. Okay. Second option, second requirement, you need to have same 40 OS version. Same 40 OS version. For example, here I'm using 40 OS 6.2, for example, and here we are using 7.2. So we cannot establish high availability. So same model, same 40 OS version, same set of license is required, same set of license, same set of interfaces is required. Interfaces. So let me show you this option with slide. So you need to have same model, same 40 OS version, same set of licenses, same type of interfaces. Okay, all cluster members share same configuration except host name and priority value. It means we have a different host name on each firewall box, and we are using priority value on different priority value on each firewall box. So on all the devices you can use different priority value. Now let's talk about high availability link. This is called, I'm talking about this failover link. So this, I told you, you need a single failover link. So it is called HA1, or you can say HA only. So this link is used to exchange hello packet, heartbeat information, HA status information. It is also used to exchange management plane, routing configuration, user ID. For example, if you are configuring anything on active device onto this primary device, all the configuration will replicate via this failover link on firewall box 2. All the configuration. Okay, for example, you have policy, routing, NAT, VPN. All the configuration will replicate automatically on firewall box 2. So this is just a copy. But we are not utilizing this box because this box mode is what? Passive, or you can say standby. So what we have high availability link. Okay, it is used to exchange hello packet, heartbeat information, HA status information, and all the configuration will replicate via failover link. Okay, heartbeat packet are non-TCP packets. It uses ether type value 0x8890, 0x8891, 0x8893. And guys, we are working right now with Fortigate. Okay. So if in case if you are working with Cisco ASA, for example, Cisco ASA or Palo Alto firewall, so this high availability link is called L3 link. It's L3 link. Okay, so we need to configure IP address here. In Cisco ASA, in Palo Alto, you need to configure IP address statically, manually onto this high availability link. But in Fortinet, no need to configure IP address here. It's automatically take IP address from this range. It's called APIPA 169.254. It's automatically used this range 169.254. No need to configure IP address in Fortigate. Now let's talk about okay, link monitoring. I told you you can monitor your link, for example, your LAN interface, your WAN interface, you can monitor. Priority value. When two FortiGate network firewall are deployed in active passive cluster, it is mandatory to configure device priority and higher priority value for master and low priority value for slave. Low priority value for slave, or you can say for backup. Default priority value in Fortinet, we have 128. I will show you in configuration. So default priority, but you can change higher priority value for master or lower priority value for slave. Now we can talk about HA override. So for HA override, right, let's discuss this slide. Wait, for HA override. Okay, so for in high availability, we are using this protocol is called FGCP for high availability, FGCP, Fortigate Clustering Protocol. A cluster uses FGCP protocol is called Fortigate Cluster Protocol to discover other Fortigate that belong to same HA group. This protocol you can use to elect primary and secondary protocol. You can use to synchronize configuration and other data. This protocol can help you to detect when FortiGate fail. When one device is failed, other device will take the responsibility. So for these options, we are using a protocol in background. It's called FGC, FortiGate Clustering Protocol. Now we can talk about primary FortiGate election process. We can talk about this option, primary FortiGate. So in between firewall box 1 and firewall box 2, how they will decide primary and secondary option. What is the election process in between firewall box 1 and firewall box 2? So let's talk about primary FortiGate election process. So, if you talk about primary FortiGate elections, so we need to discuss override option. Override is disabled by default. Override option is disabled by default. If override option is disabled, so this is the sequence. This is the sequence for negotiation. If override option is disabled. See, in between firewall box 1 and firewall box 2, this will first check. They will first check connected monitored port. Okay, they will, for negotiation, they will check first connected monitored ports or interfaces. For example, onto this device, I'm monitoring these two interfaces, WAN interface and LAN interface. But on firewall box 2, I'm only monitoring this WAN interface. So in between firewall box 1 and firewall box 2, onto this device, we are using higher connected monitor interface, greater connected monitor port. So this device is acting as a primary, and less one, this will act as a secondary. Clear my point, Muzammil, Tariq?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, in case, if there is a tie, for example, onto this device, onto this firewall box, I'm using these two interfaces, I'm using as a connector monitor interface, and onto this firewall box. So on both the devices, I have equal connected monitor port. Then there is a tie, and tiebreaker is what? If there is a tie in between for connected monitored ports, so it will go and check HA uptime. Tiebreaker is HA uptime. So for example, onto this device, if HA time is greater, so this firewall we are using as a primary, this firewall will become primary, and this will become secondary. In case if there is a tie for HA uptime, maybe onto, let's take example, on both the devices we have an equal HA uptime. Then tiebreaker is what? Priority value. A greater priority value, for example, onto this device, I'm using 150 priority value. On secondary device, I'm using 130. So in between firewall box 1 and firewall box 2, we are using higher priority value on firewall box 1. So this box is acting as a primary. This box is acting as a primary. And in case if I'm using equal priority value, equal, for example, 150 on firewall box 1 and 150 on firewall box 2, then tiebreaker is higher serial number. Higher serial number. So onto this device, if we have a higher serial number, so this box will become active, this box will become primary, and this box will become secondary. So this is the negotiation process. This is the negotiation process, or you can say sequence. This is the sequence. First, it will check connected monitor interface. If there is a tie, then tiebreaker is HA uptime. If there's a tie for HA uptime, then tiebreaker is priority value. If there is a tie for priority values, then tiebreaker is higher serial number. So this is the sequence when override option is disabled. And yes, override option is disabled by default. State disabled by default.
Serial number is in which format?
Device serial number. Device serial.
So device serial number will be differentiated on which basis?
It's a hexadecimal. They are in hexadecimal value. Okay.
They are in hexadecimal value.
I will show you. I will show you this option.
Okay. Okay.
Serial number I will show you on both the devices.
Okay.
Now, so here we have what? Okay. So override option is disabled by default. Disabled by default. So this is the sequence. If it is disabled by default. If you enable your override option, if you enable override option, then this sequence will change. If you enable this override option, then this sequence will change. Here we have a priority value, and here we have HA uptime. HA time. So now sequence is changed. If override option is enabled, so now this is the sequence. This is the sequence. So override enable option we can use when we want to use a firewall device falsely as an active. See, if override option is enabled, so if you see the sequence option, so first it will check what? First it will check connected monitor interface. If there is a tie, then tiebreaker is priority. So it will always check priority value. It's not going to check HA uptime. Always check priority. For example, here we have 150. Here we have 140. So yes, it will always check priority value, not HA uptime. So if override option is enabled, this is the sequence. If override is disabled, so this is the sequence. Clear now my point? Tariq, Mozammil?
What is the best practice to make override disable or enable?
Override enable option is good. For example, if you want to use this device as a primary, always, then always this device you want to use as a primary. Every time if it restarted or something, you want to use this device as a primary.
We will set the priority value of this device as a high. Always.
Okay, if you select, for example, higher priority value 155. Okay. But if override option is disabled, so this is the sequence.
Yes.
It will check what? HA uptime. It's not going to check priority value. That is the issue. Okay. That's why we need to enable override. Clear my point?
Okay.
Tariq, any question? Clear now?
Yes, clear.
Okay. So now let's discuss other information on lab. Okay.
So for the first time, we have to do the configuration of the both firewall or only on one firewall?
One firewall.
Only one firewall.
I will show you the configuration replication also. Okay.
Okay.
You need to configure all the information on firewall box. Configuration will replicate automatically on firewall box. I will show you. Okay, in configuration. So, guys, we are using this small topology for our high availability lab. Small topology. See, we have a firewall box 1 and firewall box 2. I'm configuring active, passive, high availability mode. So port number 1, I'm using as a management port. Port number one on both the firewall box. Port number 2 we are using as a LAN port. Port number 3 as a WAN port. And if you talk about high availability interface, so yes, we have port number 5 and port number 4. Port number 5 and port number 4 as a high availability interface. Yes, we need a single link, but second link I'm using as a backup. So as per topology, what I'm doing first we will establish high availability. First, we will configure, we will focus on high availability. If high availability is established, then I can show you, I can configure the device and I can show you configuration replication also. So please wait, I'm trying to reset my both the firewall box because I'm using this topology in the batches. So I need to reset, please wait. Okay, Muzammil, Tarek, let's start our configuration. So this is what firewall box 1 and this is what firewall box 2. So on firewall box 1, if you verify the status, wait, let's add some information on dashboard. High availability, it is status. It is status. So right now this firewall box, HA mode is a standalone. This box is not participating in any failover configuration. So HA mode is standalone. Let's move on second device. So add high availability, it is status. So both the devices, they are not participating in any failover configuration. Clear now? Let's start our configuration. Muzammil, Tarek, Muzammil.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
sir.
So for high availability configuration, you can click on system, you can click on HA high availability. And if you click on here, you will get both the option active and active passive. See, active passive. So I'm trying to configure active passive and see default priority value for configuration for high availability configuration is 128. default device priority value for failover configuration 128. If you want to change, you can, no problem. Now you can go for the cluster setting. For cluster setting, you can give a group name. For example, if I'm using group name GR1, so you need to configure same group name on second power box. On second power box, so GR1. Password you can use for create a security in between both the firewall box, or you can say if any firewall is trying to be part of this cluster, so it's required same password. So you can set a password here. You can enable session pickup. What is session pickup? So if traffic is traveling, see, if traffic is traveling with firewall box 1, this box we are using as active. So this is the firewall. Okay, this is the firewall, and it's a stateful firewall device. So if traffic is traveling through the firewall box, then firewall will maintain the state of connection in a table, and this table is called state table. So if traffic is traveling, firewall will maintain a connection table, a connection information in connection table. And this connection table, or you can say this is state table, it will share with the failover link on firewall box 2. So in case if this box is down and reply packet is coming via this firewall box, this second firewall box will allow this traffic. Why? Because it has information in the state table. So you can enable session pickup to share your session table information. Session pickup you can enable. You can go with the monitor interface. Remember, connected monitor port or monitor interface. You can go with the monitor interface. You can click onto this plus sign and you can select. For example, port number 6 and 7 I'm using as a link monitoring. So you can select. You can go for the heartbeat interface. This is called what? High availability link. High availability interface. As per our topology, we are using port number 4 and port number 5. So yes, wait. So as per our topology, port number 4 and 5 we are using as a high availability. So for example, port number 4. If you add port number 4, so no problem, you can click on OK. But if you add one more port, for example, port number 5, I'm using as a high availability backup link. So if you add one more port, so you need to define heartbeat interface priority value. You need to define heartbeat interface priority value. For example, I'm using higher priority value for port number 4. Why? See, the interface with the highest priority will be preferred. So in between both the port number 4 I'm using as a primary link, primary high availability link, and port number 5 I'm using as a backup. So you can change priority value and the interface with the highest priority will be preferred. So this is the option. I'm not configuring this high availability with graphical page. Okay, I'm configuring with CLI. You can configure with graphical page, no problem, but I'm configuring with the CLI. Okay. Let me show you the command syntax for high availability. If you want to configure with graphical page, you can. So command syntax is config system HA set mode question mark. Same, you have two options. AB is called active passive, AA is called active active. So I'm trying to configure active passive, so A-B. Now set group name. Group name, I'm using GR1. Same group name I will configure on second firewall box. Now set priority value. For example, I'm using 155. Now set override enable. Remember, override enable disable option. So I'm trying to enable. Now
what about the password?
Password you can configure. I will show you. Set password.
Okay.
Yes, no problem. Password, for example, I'm using CCIE. Muzammil. Now set HBD command you can use. It's called heartbeat device. Heartbeat interface. So HBD port number 4 as per our topology. Port number 4 and port number 5 we are using as a HA1, HA2 link. So port number 4 and priority value for port number 4. For example, I'm using 120 and we have another port number 5 we are using as a backup link. So priority value 80, for example. Done. Now you can save your configuration with end command. Now let's go on to the second firewall box. Second firewall. Config system HA. Set mode A-P. Set group name is called GR1. Set priority, for example, I'm using 135. Set override enable. Set password CCNA. Set HBD. Port number 4. Port number 4, priority value 120. Port number 5, priority value 80. If you want to enable session pickup, so set session pickup enable. You can enable this option onto this firewall box. Set session pickup enable. Done. Done. Now let's move on to the firewall box. I'm trying to refresh this firewall box and this second device also. So in between firewall box 1 and firewall box 2, we are using higher priority value on firewall box 1, right? Muzammil, Arik.
Yes, we said the priority
Yes.
as 150.
Yes, we are using higher priority value, 155.
155, yes.
155. We are using 155 and 135 here. So as per our configuration, firewall box 1 is acting as an active device. Let me show you. See, HA. Let's go to the dashboard first. Status. You can verify your HA status information. So see, yes. Mode is active passive. Group is GR1. Primary firewall box 1 is a primary. Firewall box 2 is a secondary. Uptime, state change time. Now let's go into the system. Click on HA. So yes, we have two devices. Firewall box 1 and firewall box 2. This is the serial number Mozambique. Okay. So it will check F, F, G, G, V, V like this. Okay. Serial number. So firewall box 1, this firewall box 1 rule is primary. Why? Because we are using higher priority value. And firewall box 2 is acting as secondary because we are using 135 priority value. Right now it's out of sync. This will take time for fully synchronization. So this will take time. So let's configure our inside router, inside PC, you can say. I will generate some traffic. I will show you it. So as per topology, on LAN side, I'm using 200 series of IP, and on WAN side, I'm using 10.1.23. Let's go for the gateway settings. So IP route any network with any mask 200, 200, 200. Outside router, I'm configuring outside router as per our topology. I'm using 10.1.23 name. I'm trying to configure gateway. So any network, any mask, 10.1.23. Let's configure firewall box. Okay, before configure interfaces or routing information, let's verify again our failover. So both the devices are synchronized, Tarek, Muzammil. Both the devices are synchronized. See, Tarek, Muzammil.
Yes.
You know.
And I have a question regarding
Yes.
Let's suppose a scenario. Let's suppose that you wanted to upgrade your firmware on the on both, right? On both firewalls, high availability firewalls, and you upgrade on the primary, and primary is supposed to sync with the secondary.
Yes, it will automatically sync with the secondary. Yes.
Okay. Now
you need to upgrade only your.
I'm sorry. What happens if later you find out that when you check, you find out is only the primary got upgraded, but the secondary didn't. Now, if you let's say, for example, because it needs to reboot, so the secondary didn't get it. So if you reboot the secondary, would that affect the primary?
Okay,
being active online? I'm sorry.
Okay, so yes. I got your question, Tariq. See, what you can do in real scenario, try to upgrade firmware on secondary device first. Clear my point?
Yes.
Try to upgrade firmware or operating system on secondary device first. Once you upgrade completely, then you can reset your configuration. Now, what you can do, you can change your reset your configuration. You can change the priority value, for example. You can change priority value on firewall box 2 on your secondary device as a higher priority value. So if you change priority value, automatically your secondary device will become active now, and now you can upgrade the first one. Clear?
So let's say
in real scenario, you can follow the system, because in real scenario, if firewall box 1 is active, so if you're trying to upgrade your firmware, so that you'll face some downtime.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, if it's backwards, like I said, so like when you're saying the secondary didn't get the firewall, now can we change the primary priority as
Yes, it's up to you. It's up to you. Either you can use lower priority value on primary device, no problem.
Yeah, I just wanted to avoid. I wanted to have availability. I wanted to avoid downtime, but that would happen.
That's why I'm telling you. Try to upgrade first your secondary device, because you are not utilizing your secondary device, Tariq.
Yes.
So try to upgrade your secondary device first. Once secondary device is up to date, properly working fine, so now you can go. Okay, you can go on your primary device. You can change your priority value. For example, if you have higher one, you can change with a lower one. If you change priority value, automatically your secondary will become active.
Yes.
And traffic is traveling through your second box, and now you can upgrade your first device. So now there is no downtime.
Got it. But on this scenario, if, for example, if the secondary didn't get upgraded, now you see my point. Like, let's say in that scenario, the secondary didn't get upgraded, so now the primary upgraded. Now, if you wanted to do that, upgrade the secondary without to still have availability for as a primary being active, or how would you do that?
Can you please repeat your question? Can you please?
Okay. So, for example, let's say you upgraded the firmware on.
Wait, Tariq, wait. So you have two devices. Okay, wait. You have two devices. This device is acting as a primary, and this one is secondary. Now, please ask your question.
So you upgraded the firmware on both devices. Okay. On the primary, I mean. So the primary is supposed to sync. Yeah. Sync with the secondary. Then you find out. Let's say you do that after hours because you're trying to avoid any downtime because it's going to reboot, right?
Yes.
And then you come in the morning and find out, wait a minute, the secondary didn't get the synchronized update. to become the firmware.
So you need to check your failover link. Maybe some problem. Maybe
Right.
some problem you have in failover link. Maybe. That's why. See, these are the issues you can face in real scenario. Tariq.
Okay.
Okay, if you're trying to upgrade your primary, and if you think this firmware upgrade will automatically synchronize on secondary device, maybe you will face some problems. So that's why you need to do testing first. So the good practice, that's why I'm telling you the good practice is what? In that case, you will face some downtime. That's why I'm telling you traffic is traveling via primary. Okay, everything is working fine. What you can do, you can first upgrade your secondary device.
Okay.
Tariq.
Got it.
First, that's why see if you don't care about the downtime, so no problem. You can start with a primary, but in real scenario, always start your upgrade option with secondary because you're not utilizing. You can upgrade properly, everything is working fine. Now you can go on your primary and change your priority value with lower. For example, you have a 15, now you can change with 130. Once you change priority value, automatically this device will become secondary and this device will become primary and traffic is traveling by primary and now you can upgrade safely with this device. No problem.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay. No problem. Got it.
Muzammil,
Thank
any
you.
question here? Muzammil?
Yes, what is the possibility that after upgrading the firmware, the configuration of the firewall remain intact?
It's available. That's why you can take a backup, no problem. You can before upgrade your operating system, you have to take your backup, configuration backup. In case if you face problem, you can restore it.
Means after even restoring, what is the possibility that the configuration will not be applied?
You will get all the configuration, Muzammil. In case if there is some issue, so you need to troubleshoot it.
Okay.
But you will get all the that's why that we need to follow the step. First, we need to take a configuration backup, operating system backup, everything we have a backup. Now we are trying to upgrade our firmware. In
Okay.
case if you face problem, you can revert your configuration, you can revert with your last firmware. Muzammil.
Okay. So how we are going to take the backup of the firmware? Means is there
Backup is very simple. Remember I tell you the backup configuration.
the backup configuration of it's okay, but the firmware configuration, I'm saying. Suppose I upgraded the firmware of the hardware of the firewall. Okay. I have a backup. I push back the backup of the configuration to the firewall, and after pushing back the
Okay. What
configuration,
you want to take operating system version backup?
yeah, means,
Operating system backup.
or what is the possibility that we can revert back to the older version of the firmware?
See, if you have see, the point is what? Okay, let me show you the backup option first. You can go with the backup option. Here we have a backup system configuration. Operating system backup. Okay, this is not operating system backup. I think there is option in CLI, Mozambique. It's not available with graphical page.
Okay.
But yes, like other devices, you can take a complete operating system backup, and you can with graphical page you can take configuration backup before upgrade your firmware.
Okay.
Mozambique, okay.
Because
Actually,
it's happened recently
we
with
cannot
us.
say the Mozambique. We cannot say the possibility. See, we can try.
Okay.
See, in real scenario, you will face problem.
Yeah, because recently we faced a issue with after
Yes.
upgrading the firmware with 7.22 that all the routing information of the firewall means for the tunnel. This routing information was not upgraded, not means sync with the firewall.
So before upgrade, before upgrade your firmware, try to read the documents information. Okay, before upgrade.
Okay. Before upgrade.
Yes, you can go onto the Fortigate document library. You can verify some documentation before upgrade. Maybe yes, you can face some problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay now.
Okay.
Okay. Tariq, clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See now. So primary device we can access, but see guys, if I'm trying to access this secondary device, this secondary, so this secondary device we cannot access with graphical page. Remember always, we can only access our primary device with graphical page. Secondary device we cannot access. See, we cannot access secondary device. No.
Oh, it means
So-
after syncing we cannot access the secondary device.
Yes. Once they establish high availability, Muzammil,
Okay.
you cannot manage your secondary devices with graphical page. No, you can only manage your primary device with graphical page.
Okay.
But in case if you want to verify some information, so you can go with the CLI option. See, this is firewall box 2. You can go with the CLI option. You can go with the
So in
CLI.
the if in the real scenario we cannot have access to this browser based access, so we should have something means to access the firewall, how we can remotely access it.
You can go with this SSH, no problem.
SSH or
Yes. See,
okay.
right now we are using our data interface as a management
Okay.
and our data interface as a high availability ring.
Okay.
In real scenario, see, if you are working with high-end devices, so you will get a dedicated HA port.
Okay.
You get a dedicated management port. Right now we are using data interface as a management port. Clear my point?
Yes.
In real scenario, you
Okay.
have a different IP address. Different IP address here, different IP address on port number 1. Right now we are using data interfaces. Okay, so what we have, secondary device, you cannot manage direct. Clear my point? Muzammil?
Yes,
Now-
clear. I just have I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No problem.
Just, I mean, I don't want to hang on to this firmware thing, but if the both firewalls, I mean, HA firewalls are active, would that be a problem? You know,
No.
because they're not gonna, doing that.
No, you can upgrade, no problem. Again, I told you, you have to follow some documents, okay? If you try to upgrade, you can face some problem. In real scenario, you have to go with the downtime option. You have to go. With active, yes, you can face some downtime issue. Because you are utilizing all the firewall box in the cluster, Tariq.
Yeah.
So in active case, maybe you can face some downtime. Maybe some configuration is not working properly. So you need to do some testing. You have to take some downtime. You have to go for downtime option.
Okay. Got it.
But in active passive, we have a good option. You can upgrade first your secondary device, then you can upgrade your next one. Clear now, Muzammil?
Okay. Clear.
So now I'm trying to configure interfaces. For example, see, if you verify on second firewall box, show system interface. So system interface, so port number 2. We don't have IP address, port number 3, no IP address on firewall box 2. This is firewall box 2. So I'm trying to configure IP address on firewall box 1. As per our topology, port number 2. Port number 2 I'm using as a LAN port. IP address 200.1/24 ping service. Port number 3. WAN 10.1.23.1/24 ping service. And I'm configuring default routing, any network, any mask 10.1.23.10. Let's configure firewall policy to allow our traffic, create new. So rule 1, incoming interface, outgoing interface, source, any, for example, right now, destination, any, services, any, and now click on OK. So we have interface configuration, routing, firewall policy on firewall box 1. If you verify on firewall box 2, for example, if you verify on firewall box 2, yes, configuration is replicated. See, configuration is available on your second firewall box. Muzammil, clear my point? Show firewall policy.
Yes.
So firewall policy. So we have a firewall policy. See, this is policy ID. This is policy name. Rule 1. So this device, this firewall box 1 is active right now. So I'm trying to generate some traffic. For example, I'm trying from this LAN PC. From this LAN PC, I'm trying to generate some traffic. I'm trying to ping 10.1.23.10. I'm trying to ping 23.10. I'm getting reply. I'm getting reply. I can ping outside router. So let's go with the repeat option. Repeat 5,000, for example. Repeat 5,000. So this box right now, this Fortigate firewall box, this box is active right now. It's active. Firewall box 1 is active. So now I'm trying to power off, for example, stop this device. Stop this device. So you can see here, traffic is stopped, but again continue. Why? Because this second device, your firewall box 2 now is active. Let me show you. Now your firewall box 2 is active now. If you verify here, see your firewall box 2. Your firewall box 2 is active now. Primary devices, firewall box 2. Clear my point? In case
Yes.
if this box will come up again, for example, in case if this box will come up again, so remember override option is enabled and we are using higher priority value on firewall box 1. So if this box will come up again, this box will become primary device active again. Let me show you right now. This firewall box 2 is active. Okay, let's verify here. Once this device will start, so this box will become, this firewall box 1 will become active again. Wait.
But if the box becomes active, that will if you change it, that will give a little bit of disruption, a little bit, right?
Yes,
Seconds
yes,
of-
little bit, yes.
Okay.
Yes. You can verify. Now I'm trying to. Now again, firewall box 1 is become active again. Clear now? Clear this lab. High availability option. Muzammil, Tariq.
Yes.
Yes.
This is our topic, is called high availability. We are completed active passive. For active, yes, you can follow the slide. It's a very simple task. But what is the difference, exactly difference between active passive and active? We will discuss tomorrow. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Tomorrow
we
is a
have
Friday, but we can do our session if you guys are available.
Yeah, I'm available.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
And then, like you said briefly, active is used for load, most of the time used for load balancing, and active
Yes.
passive is for high
Yes.
availability.
I will tell you the difference, okay, between
Okay.
active passive and active tomorrow. Tomorrow same
Okay.
time at 9:30. Okay. Bye everyone.
You
Take
got
care,
it.
guys. Bye
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.